Yo, it's your boy TF. I'm here, and you see me with the cowboy hat and the Men in Black shades. You know, we have to do it differently for you today. It's been a while, but I've never done a predictions video for an AEW Double or Nothing show. I haven't done a prediction show for anything outside of Revolution shows. Don't know why, but here we are. But, you know, hope all's well. Stay fresh, be fresh, all that good stuff. I got an idea here. Not even an idea. We're just gonna preface the intro with this. I've seen that, you know, if we look at the count, we have 2, 6. We have 12 matches on this show. 13 if you count the buy-in match. My opinion on that is, I don't know if it's true about TK loading up the card in such a way where it's like that maybe bigger perceived matches are like later in the show or something like that. I don't necessarily have a problem with the show being longer, even though a lot of people are going to argue, you know, that it feels like how they're trying to get everybody on the show like they do for WrestleMania now, or like they were doing when, you know, before they went to 2 nights and all that. My take on that is this. I do think that's a problem this time, but I also have an issue with, I had this issue with Full Gear and All Out last year as well. Great shows, 100%. Great shows. My number one problem was that they just hit you with match. There was no breakup in the action. There was no breakup in like any kind of segment or just something that gets a spotlight on somebody else without it being an actual wrestling match. And I get it. Yes, it's all elite wrestling. Yes, they want to give you pro wrestling. But I saw this at Revolution 2 just 2 months ago. It felt like the crowd was dead within 2 hours of the show. By the time we got to Moxley and Bryan's match at Revolution this year, that crowd was kind of finished, from what I heard. You know, I had the surround sound on and everything watching this pay-per-view. Like, they were gone, essentially. And I know it's different in the arena as opposed to what you see on TV, but you got good enough ears and you see enough on TV, you could tell when a crowd is there or not. I know there's instances where it's the opposite or it could not be, but from what I usually can hear and see a hot crowd, they look kind of dead after Mox and Bryan. That's like the last match where they were really into, because MJF and Punk in that dog collar match took them out of it. And then Mox and Bryan finished them off. It was like a Mortal Kombat fatality or something. But that's how it looked to me. I think that's one thing they need to improve on with these shows, is that it's going to be exasperated with it being even more matches than there's ever been on an AEW pay-per-view for the show. This show might be like 5 hours now. Yes, that's ridiculous. But also, I think what they need to do as well is that they need to find a way to put in some kind of intermission, not like a true intermission, but something they could do in between the matches, not even just for the crowd, but if you watching at home, something to give you a break from all the matches. And again, I referenced Full Gear. It was a great show, but it was just too many matches back to back to back. Even for me, just watching from the comfort of my own home, it's just like bruh, like, we need something to break this action up. It's just you know, it's hard to appreciate a great match after another one when there's just nothing. There's no spacing. There's no, you know, it's like an NBA offense that's got no shooters and just slashers and big men that can't shoot or something like that. For my NBA ballers out there, my basketball players out there, you get what I'm saying. There's no spacing in the show. It feels just very convoluted and just compacted to me. And like I said, I would like to see maybe the first 2 matches and then hit me with some kind of vignette, even if it's not even a debut or somebody new. Maybe spotlight somebody that ain't been on TV in a while, maybe like a Miro or something. that, not even that he's returning soon, but just give me something. But I get if you want to be surprised, but I'm just using him as an example. But give me a vignette on somebody that maybe you haven't been spotlight, whether it's a female talent or a male talent, it doesn't matter. But give me something to kind of cool the crowd down a little bit. If we in the crowd, give me a chance to go get something to drink, go to the bathroom, get some food, do something. The pay-per-views don't give you a chance to breathe. And I say that's why the crowds be dead like 2 hours in. I think All Out last year was an exception because the show wasn't super long. And Chicago is usually a hot crowd. The Full Gear was in Minneapolis. So yeah. So it's a different crowd. Yeah, you get people from all over the place traveling to these shows, but still, it's Minnesota. So I think what they need to work on, what TK needs to work on, what the company needs to work on, is they need to find something in the middle of that to space that show out more and get that crowd hype. Because the crowd's hype, it translates to me at home watching, and I'm like, man, I can't really get into this. And I think the world title match with Adam Cole and Hangman Page suffered at Revolution from that. The crowd was dead completely. And Cole and Hangman are over guys. They are popular, but you could not tell by watching that match. The crowd was trying to care. They were just dead from everything that happened for the prior 3.5, 4 hours that that show was. So, I don't know. If I had one gripe with AEW, that's something I would pick at about the pay-per-views, is that not even that they're too long, it's just that they need something to break the action up. Whether it's just some quick segment in the ring, maybe from talents that are on the show or something. Just something to get the crowd to, invest in, but still, and somebody might say, maybe that's kind of WWE-esque. I ain't saying it has to be a bad segment. I'm just saying, more like the Attitude Era, where they do something to get people invested, even if it's somebody that's not on the show. You have talents that can do that. So, give somebody a microphone for 5-6 minutes and do some segment. And just almost reminiscent of, when they go off air and he's, and it's just something for the crowd. Give me something like that on pay-per-view on TV, or do that anyway and hype up your next pay-per-view in some vignettes or commercials or something. They do those infomercial or commercials on pay-per-view. You could do that too. But I just wanted to get my point out about that. That was one thing I had a gripe about. But moving on to the actual card. We're going to start with the most recently added match of Frank Kazarian, Sammy Guevara, and Ty Conti against TNT champion Scorpio Sky, All Ego, Ethan Page, and Paige Van Zandt for debut. This mixed trios match that we're going to get. We're getting before Double Nothing, but we're going to get, that was added basically last minute. But maybe they had it planned already. It feels last minute and rushed to me because they added it the Friday of the show. So, yeah, I don't know if they were waiting on this or not. Now, would I have added it to the show? I didn't expect this match to get added to the show, honestly. I thought they were going to do maybe just some kind of segment with Sky or do something. Maybe some kind of big brawl or fight or just something. I didn't think they were going to completely just do the match. So I'm hoping that, they can kind of cover any greenness or rust that may have, to kind of introduce her, dip your toe in the water of pro wrestling there. So hopefully it's a good debut for her and all that. That's cool. I'm with most people that this feud needs to end. It's got to end. And to pick the winners of this, I'm going to go with Man of the Year, ATT. They're going to take this match. They have to. For the story to end, they have to beat them. So, and that's fine. That's whatever to me. But at least it'll be over. At least it will be over. And that new TNT Championship that Scorpio Sky got with the purple and gold influence, it's nice. It's nice there. Very nice looking belt. Had to comment on that. And we saw another late edition, Darby Allin versus Kyle O'Reilly. I'm gonna say I didn't think this needed to be on the show. Really? It would be solid. It will be a solid match. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna take anything away from either guy. It's gonna be a solid match. So, who I think is going to take it? I'm gonna go Darby because he's the singles guy. O'Reilly isn't really pushed as a singles guy. He's pushed more of a tag team guy that's really good in the ring. It's just like FTR. Dax is really solid, but he'll give you a good match or a great match even. So I just think that tag team reputation would protect him. Both guys will look good. I think Darby's gonna come out with a victory there to get some payback for them taking out Sting. So that's what I think. I think we'll get a solid, hard-hitting match there. Do I think it needs to be added? Not really, but I'm not mad at it. Death Triangle against the House of Black. Another trios match here. This has been building. They've been waiting for Rey Fenix to get healthy. And, good to see him healthy. And, doing Rey Fenix things. Penta, Ray, Pac, House of Black. I think the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, Buddy Matthews. I think House of Black are going to take this. Just because I think they need it more. They haven't had that big establishing victory yet as a unit. So I think they'll take this one. Just to get some steam behind them. Because it seems like they have been kind of in a holding pattern for a while with the Julia Hart thing. And waiting for Rey Fenix to get back so they could feud with Death Triangle. So that's where I think this is going. So yeah, I get the victory to House of Black. I think we're going to get some exciting action in this match, and House of Black is going to take it. The Young Bucks versus the Hardys. Elite versus Delete. This honestly could go either way because you're looking at it from a perspective, yes, it's a dream match. That's already happened before. But it's a dream match. The spectacle of it is going to be nice. It's going to be exciting. Everybody's going to be hyped for that one. To continue the Hardy story, pacing themselves for one more tag team title run. For that particular reason, I'm going to say the Hardys are going to take this. For that particular reason. I think the old wily veterans, the Hardys, will survive the Young Bucks. I say survive as in, yes, the Bucks are in their prime. The Hardys are not. They're quicker. They're quicker, probably a little stronger right now. Faster, all those things. I think the Hardys will use this to get the W, as they can't just rely on their athleticism like they used to. So it's just like an NBA analogy. It's like that old wily veteran that used his smarts to win that game, for his team, instead of using all flash and athleticism. It's about knowing the game. So since the Hardys are still, and this is their first pay-per-view match back as a team, I expect them to survive the Young Bucks. I think the Bucks are going to give them an onslaught that they have not seen or are ready for. But I think the Hardys will survive. And they'll take the W for now. Tournament finals of the Women's Own Heart Foundation Cup. Britt Baker. This is to be decided, but we know now that it's going to be Ruby Soho against Britt Baker. I may have a little bit to say about this tournament to unpack here. To get it out the way, ultimately, I think Ruby is going to defeat Britt Baker. I think that is the right move. I think that is the move that should be for this match. Should be good. Should be good enough. And we saw Ruby get a not so pleasant reaction on Rampage for defeating Chris Statlander. And I hate that she was put in that position talking about Ruby. Because TK putting Chris Statlander in this tournament in the first place to replace Hikaru Shida was a mistake. It was a mistake. I say that because what I would have done if it were me, you know, that's just me looking at it. Even when it was happening, I'm not even saying that with foresight or anything like that. I would have had Velvet get a cheap win over Statlander earlier in the tournament to get more heat on her. Just because they just got this group with the baddies with Kiera Hogan and Jade, and Red Velvet. I think that would have been a good way to solidify Velvet's new character change, getting this victory in this tournament, and you could have had Ruby beat her, happily ever after. They wouldn't have booed Ruby at all. That's just my take. This match just happened yesterday, so it's very fresh in my mind. And the way I look at it is when you have Statlander and Ruby in this semifinal, it is a lose-lose for both women. It's a lose-lose period, just because you got somebody who's trying to change their character up, a new reset, a new start, against a Ruby Soho who kind of needs that win too. She needs to win, Statlander needs to win. Yes, it can go either way, but it's a lose-lose scenario between two women that need some steam behind them. And I was already not a fan of Toni Storm losing to Britt Baker. I didn't like that either, just because, she's the new kid on the block. You introduce her, she wins a match or two, wins a dark match, and then, she runs into that buzzsaw Britt Baker. I didn't like that, just because I ain't saying she needs to be invincible for a year or whatever, but the rules count different for some people, obviously, so I just think we would have got more compelling final if Toni Storm was involved. That's just me in this situation. Plus, Britt doesn't need it. She doesn't need it, simply. I mean, the second they made that match, I was like, is Britt really going to get left off the pay-per-view? So, but referencing back to what we're talking about, particularly with this match, I'm going to go Ruby. And like I said, referencing Ruby in the first place, they really hurt her with that loss to Britt for the title at Arthur Ashe. They shouldn't have made that match there. That killed all of Ruby's momentum from get-go. That was like 2 weeks after she came in. 2 or 3 weeks to Arthur Ashe show, because it was right after All Out. I just don't... They didn't do her any favors. They really didn't do her any favors keeping her off television. Not out the ring, but off TV. Mostly for the next 8 months. I don't get it. It's just, I don't know why you expect people to, see her and be like, hey, we want her to succeed now. But you done left her off forever, so you already conditioned people to not care. So, I don't know why they're expecting a different result than what they got. And now you bring Ruby back to finally get the win, and then she gets crapped on by the crowd. So, you really set her up to fail in that situation, and I didn't like seeing that, Because now, what do you do with her? I don't know. I don't think she should turn heel just because management made a bad decision on who to put in the tournament. So, I don't know. That's just me there. But yes, I say Ruby Soho is going to win the tournament on the women's side. On the men's side, we got Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe, which should be a banger. We know that. To keep it short and sweet, we're going to get a heck of a match, a hard-hitting match. It's going to be a good match. I think Adam Cole is going to win this tournament. I think he could use that. I know a lot of people saying, oh, he doesn't really need it, this. He wins all the time, he wrestles all the time. Adam Cole's great. He is. He's popular. He's great in the ring. He's going to give you a solid match consistently, regardless of who he's in there with. We know what Samoa Joe can do. He doesn't really need it. He's the Ring of Honor television champion. He's a dominant force. He's working with that arm issue there that they've already kind of explained and exploited. So you could protect Joe in this case. He doesn't really need it. You could just have Lethal and Satnam Singh or whoever come out, and they can cost him this match in this final, or the Undisputed Elite could cost Joe this match. Joe will be fine. He doesn't need this. I'd just say Adam Cole probably needs it a little tiny bit more, just because he's 0-2 on pay-per-view. They probably want to get him in the win column on the pay-per-view. Because, he lost a Full Gear in that trios match against Jurassic Express and Christian. And Revolution, he lost to Hangman. He took 2 losses there, challenging for the title. He had that unsanctioned match that he lost to Orange Cassidy that didn't count, but people still look at it like, oh, you lost. So I think they'll throw Cole a bone here. He'll get a pay-per-view win just to, get him going there. Give him something to brag about for a little bit. His character needs a little something right now, so he'll be fine. Anarchy in the Arena, Jericho Appreciation Society versus Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Santana Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston. It is going to be anarchy. We see that. In short, I think it's going to be beautiful violence everywhere, and I believe the Jericho Appreciation Society is going to come away with this victory only because I believe they're going to get the absolute crap beaten out of them, but they're going to survive. I say that because as a group, to take them seriously, they need a victory. We know what the BCC can do. We know what Eddie Kingston and Santana Ortiz can do. And since they're not a productive unit together, and it's never been tested before yet, they can take that loss. They will be fine. There's no rules. So it's just an absolute chaotic brawl that they can lose. It's not, they're going to be fine based on that. And the Jericho Appreciation Society, JS, they need a win to kind of solidify them as a threat. If they don't win this, then you can't take them seriously at all. You might as well disband them after this match is over. So, I think they'll be fine. JAS could take that victory to further the story a bit. I think it's all going to go into a blood and guts match very soon. And that's going to be beautiful. I hope if they do blood and guts again between JAS and probably these same individuals, honestly. And that's probably where they'll get their payback. I hope they do it on pay-per-view. I hope they do it at All Out. Honestly, I don't want to see another Blood and Guts on TV. I think it's the first one with the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle suffered because it was on TV. It just kept breaking up the action too much for me. So I think if you're gonna do Blood and Guts again, do it on pay-per-view. Do it on pay-per-view. They just got to make it a few more months. I think they can. You can get a lot of tag team and singles combinations out of these 10 people. So I think you'll get something good out of that. Moving on to MJF and Wardlow. Wardlow wins. He can sign a contract with AEW. Loses, he never can. Right? This story has been played out perfectly, in my honest opinion. Wardlow's looked like a beast every time you see him. This is probably my favorite storyline in all Elite Wrestling right now. Both guys have looked fantastic in what they're doing to build all this up. Shawn Spears in particular has also looked fantastic. He did great in the cage. Everybody involved, bravo. They've done a great job with this story. But while helping it feel original, that's so hard to do these days. But you gotta appreciate some originality there, and it just feeling like it organically works. The chemistry's there. I think Wardlow's absolutely gonna murder MJF and win this match. I don't think they're gonna do some loophole where he loses and Ring of Honor. Nah. Wardlow destroys MJF. We let that be. Wardlow destroys him, signs his contract. He moves on. That's all you gotta do. Keep it simple. You ain't gotta do nothing else. And then you have Wardlow go after that TNT championship. That's what Wardlow needs to do, in my honest opinion. So yes, Wardlow takes the W there. No pun. TBS Championship, Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay. This is actually a rematch from a Rampage going back a few months, where they had a pretty good match on a live Rampage. I believe it was definitely a live Rampage a few months back that they had. They had a pretty solid match there. I think we're expecting the same. We're expecting Jade to retain here. Let's be honest. But I think they got some good chemistry, so they should have a good match there. I expect it to be solid. A solid, nice little match to showcase what both women can do. Jay's gonna look dominant. She's gonna look awesome. She's gonna take her W, retain that TBS championship. Now, would I be upset if somebody confronted her after the match? Wouldn't hate it. you know, hopefully they do that, and maybe she gets confronted by a debuting women's talent. That's all I'm gonna say there. But yes, Jade is catching this W. AEW World Tag Team Championship. A 3-way tag team match for the tag team titles. Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, Team Taz versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. To keep it short and sweet, we've seen a little tension there with Christian and Jungle Boy the last few weeks, where it looked like he's teasing he might turn on him. I think tomorrow night, because this video is being made there, I think tomorrow night is when Christian Cage will show his colors and turn on Jungle Boy. After Jurassic Express loses the World Tag Team Championships to Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, I think they're going to be the beneficiaries of winning this match and getting the gold. I'm not saying they're going to hold the gold for a year, but I think they're going to hold it for a little bit, and I think they've earned it. I hope all 6 guys look great in this match, because I love every talent in this match. I just think it's too soon for Keith and Swerve. It just feels like they were jumping. They were thrown together, and they've only been together a little bit, so I don't think they're going to win based on that. Ricky and Hobbs have been together a lot longer, so it makes sense. It hasn't seemed like they've been together that long, but they've been together for about a year now, over a year. So, yeah, about a year and a half, I think. So, and them actually teaming up. They've been teaming up for a little bit. They just haven't been super showcased on Dynamite. But this is a big step for them. I hope Team Taz gets this. And I think as a result, Christian's going to turn on Jungle Boy, and it's going to be cool, because it's going to be 1 year in the making of Jungle Boy eliminating Christian from the Casino Battle Royal last year to win, and Christian gave him his respect. So it's going to be a nice little contrast to this year where he turns on him. So that should be a cool little storyline beat right there. That'll be fun to see. AEW Women's World Championship, Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb. I can't roll my tongue. It sucks. But Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb. They're trying. They really are trying to make this more important. It was nice to see Rosa get some promo time to talk a little bit, to get her points out. Nothing too long, just short and sweet. About to give this match some fire. And I think they could have done more. And you tend to say that. I think the previous week's promo with Serena and Dustin, I think that went a bit too long. They had to talk a little too long. But the content was there. The passion was there. But I'm like, is anybody really going to get better on the microphone doing these things unless they get the chance to do it? So I think we're going to get a solid match out of this. Thunder Rosa is going to retain. It's too early in her run. But we're going to get a solid match. It's going to be fantastic. And best of luck to both ladies. I hope this is a banger, as we call. And we'll just get this out of the way. The buy-in match. Hookhausen versus Tony Nese and Mark Sterling. I believe Hook and Danhausen are going to take this. I like that they built up this odd friendship pretty well. It should be a nice little fun match to kick the show off and everything. So Hookhausen, I think, will get their victory and dominate and do their thing. It should be fun for the fans there. And AEW World Championship, Hangman Page versus CM Punk. And it's cool that this is the first time that it's been unpredictable. It's the most unpredictable world title match on pay-per-view for AEW since Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho at Revolution 2020. That I do agree with. It's probably the most unpredictable title match. It can literally go either way. But I'm going to go out on a limb. I think CM Punk is going to be your new AEW World Champion. Only because I think there's more challengers in front of him than there is in front of Hangman at this time. I think you can move some stories forward if Punk wins the title. Do I think he's going to win cleanly? I don't think he will. Though I think he'll win. I don't think it's going to be clean. Not necessarily saying he's going to cheat. I'm just saying I don't think he's going to win cleanly. I think we're going to get a banger of a match, obviously, out of two guys. Because when Hangman won the championship at Full Gear last year, I predicted that he was probably going to lose the title at Double or Nothing. I didn't know who it would be against. I can't, I don't have a crystal ball. But I figured he was going to lose at Double or Nothing. So I'm going to stick with that part of my prediction that I had in my head this whole time since November and say he's going to drop the title. He's going to lose to CM Punk. But there's also, let's keep it there. My prediction is that CM Punk's going to win the title. But I can see Hangman retaining only because he's had a solid run. There are a few challengers left. That's why it's such a tough choice. But it's the name of the game. You got my predictions, you got my thoughts, you got my feelings about everything. It's going to be a heck of a world title match. It's going to be fun, it's going to be interesting, unpredictable. Yeah, that's really everything. I'm glad you guys and gals have watched this preview and predictions, the freshest preview and predictions of AEW Double or Nothing that you could possibly get in 2022. I'm your host, Stay Fresh. But much love, peace, freshness, all that good stuff. Shout out to you for watching this longer. And hopefully you like, share, subscribe, do all those great things. Your boy Tay Fresh is back in the building. We had a good time discussing this, and I had a good time getting it off my chest. Hope you enjoy the pay-per-view, just like I will. Much love to you. Stay fresh. Peace. Take care.